Common sense media activated.
Live from the 210, it's the Wave of the Few Short Show, and we are your hosts, Mr. Trey M. Carr, and I am E. James.
Hey everybody, welcome to Wave of the Few Shore, aka WFS, where the head meets the heart. I wanted to welcome y'all to this episode 18, which we're going to title Beneath the Surface. We're going to get into the Ocean Gate incident, but before that, I wanted to wish y'all from the bottom of my heart a happy Juneteenth.
Appreciate that, brother. Happy belated Juneteenth.
Happy belated Juneteenth to my brethren out there, in here, and all around, and sister.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
We're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Before we get into the show, do we want to tell the people what Juneteenth is?
Yeah. I guess we all gotta, well, not all of us, but a lot of people are off on this past Monday, so might as well let them know why, right? It was January 1st, 1863, where Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation went into effect, essentially, freeing the slaves within the country. And it was June 19th, 1865, where General Gordon Granger rode down into Galveston, Texas. Got to represent for the Texans. But rode in there and finally freed, I think it was about 250,000 slaves that I saw that were active in Texas at the time that just had no idea that they were free. Of course, it's no internet or anything, so nothing happens
Right.
immediately. But 2.5 years, there were people just not spreading that information for obvious reasons. That's when we truly, completely became free in this nation. So,
Yeah. And also, Texas in 1979 became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday. And on June 2021, Biden signed it in the Congress or approved, Congress passed the legislation, and Biden approved it, and it made it a federal holiday. So long overdue. That's awesome. And for those of you looking at the video in post here, you'll see a little bit of a color scheme going on with our backgrounds. We got the red, the black, and the green.
Yeah, we got color coordinated for this one for y'all.
oh, yeah, we had to coordinate.
That's right. Got to coordinate. So
Yeah, dude.
go ahead, man.
It's a beautiful thing, yo. Like it's been a long time coming.
Yep.
And I just hope it reaches to a greater populace and kind of highlights the importance of this day for y'all,
Don't
Absolutely,
forget about
man.
the past, learn from it.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
That's right.
all we can do.
Respect it.
That's right.
It's the name of the game,
Yeah.
baby. But, from one thing that happened in Texas to a grand another that happened in Texas, a big thing about, 7'5", maybe 220
7'5".
pounds. Something big happened. Filling those North Star Marl boots.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Is that like Pennywise? What happened?
The day has finally happened and passed. The Wemby Day. Happy Wemby Day to all my fellow San Antonians out there. It's been a long 4
Yes,
years.
sir.
It's been a long 4
Yes,
years.
sir.
Another Texas holiday. Yeah, people treated it like a holiday. Everybody came into that day at work just real quiet, real hungover.
Yeah,
It was in the
man.
middle of the week.
Yeah, nice little Thursday night.
The city was super happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever really need a reason to start drinking at 7 o'clock or whatever, but I noticed there were some people that were ready for that one. 7 o'clock, as soon as that draft turned on, boy.
I almost missed it, man. I was working on something. I was outside, I think, and I ran in the house. I was like, oh my God. It was like 7:05. Fired up the last week of DirecTV stream because I canceled it. I was like, oh, still got plenty of time. And then I
Right
caught
on
him. They had already made the announcement, but I saw him walking, and I was like, it's officially here. It has begun. So, yeah, buddy. So let's tell the people actually what happened. Spurs got the number 1 draft pick in the draft. We talked about that a couple episodes ago that they were going to have, that they had won it. But they made it official. They put a ring on it, so to speak. And they drafted French talent, 19-year-old, 7'5", Victor Wembanyama from the Metropolitans, I believe is the name of the team he played for. And they picked up another French guy, Sidi Sissik. I think that's how you say his name, or Sissik.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's another good talent. He actually played alongside the number what ended up being the number 3 pick, but people were saying if Wemby wasn't in this draft, that guy would have been the number 1 pick, Scoot Henderson. He played on the team with him on the G League Ignite. So Spurs bagged up a couple of a great player and a real solid player, and the whole city's just like mad happy about it.
Culture's coming, culture's coming together. And I don't think the culture was represented could be represented any better than that picture that Wemby posted Saturday evening.
Oh, speaking of the culture. Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
So dude is pretty hype on getting his first breakfast tacos, right?
Oh man. Yeah, that's
Right,
what he said
right.
after an interview. What are you looking for the most? Breakfast tacos. Then on Instagram you see him getting that bag. I want to know where they came from.
On Twitter, there was a post NBA draft dinner with some Spurs legends, and we'll work our way up in popularity and impact. Number 32, Sean Elliott, former small forward and TV announcer for the Spurs. Number 20, Manu Ginobili, shooting guard elite, six man. The best 6-man ever and a starter anywhere else in the league in his own right. Number 50, the Admiral, David Robinson, the center. The first, well, not the first franchise player, but, freak talent. Can't disrespect George Gervin like that. And then my favorite basketball player of all time, number 21, Tim Duncan, the best power forward of all time. It's not even an argument. It's a fact. Come at me, bro. Well, we'll see what happens because Wemby has the potential to even pass him up because he's technically a power forward. But in this picture, people have been going in on their outfit, on some of these outfits.
That's quintessential Spurs fashion right there.
Man.
We got Timmy with my boots on, which is crazy.
Like he just got off the truck.
Yeah, dude. Pulled up from Blackjack, just replaced his shirt real quick. All right, guys. Smelling like oil.
Actually, bro, it looks like he took the shirt on he had over it off.
It was a work shirt.
Work shirt. Dude, they're down in San Antonio. It's hot, bro. It's hot. You gotta get rid of that other overshirt, man. You can't do it. Can't do it. Timmy with the boots on looking like he just got off the kitchen line. It was too hot right there on the grill, man. That grill was hot, man.
I'm looking at this picture, and here's where my brain's going, right? My brain's like, okay. So you look at that Sean Elliott. He's like the manager of the restaurant. My man looks like he's got the Cole Haans on, shirt's tucked in, sleeves rolled up nicely. All right. And then we shoot over to his head cook, the chef, Tim Duncan. He's even got the little thing to cover his dreads. You see the dirty boots. Maybe he took off his chef's coat before he took this pic. The number 1 server or bartender, Manu over here.
He's a mixologist.
Getting him that Argentinian wine.
Exactly.
Malbec,
He's like, would you like a Malbec? I'm still a Time Warner customer. And then
Sean Elliott rolled up. What's
and
up?
then they took a picture with the dad and his son, Tim Duncan, David Robinson's over there. Look, I know the owner of the restaurant. He's in my buddies. Hey, I want to show my son a good time because Wemby's got his little polo on and these green shorts, man. Like 3 dudes with Air Force Ones. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, Sean looks like anything you guys need, just let me know. We'll comp it. He's got the prayer hands going like, thank you guys for coming here.
And Timmy's only in the picture because they're like, I want to give my compliments to the chef. So they made him
Right,
come outside
right.
to take a picture.
Yeah.
He don't even want to be.
He looked a little annoyed. He
He
was
just out
annoyed.
there,
He's like,
there, and
"All
like,
right, all
I
right."
guess, okay, hi.
He's like taking off his chef thing. Hey guys, did you like the fish?
I don't even want to be here today. Yeah, man, but Twitter's been going in on this, but I found something even more egregious, in my
Oh, man.
opinion. So let me switch tabs here and get y'all going on this one. See your thoughts on this. Grady Dick. I forgot that name. Yes, that name. But look at this. Look at this, man. He's got a new GD chain, but his jacket, he played for Kansas. So his jacket's supposed to be inspired by Dorothy. He's got the red bottom shoes on. He's got that sparkly. I mean, even the turtleneck. He got a sequin turtleneck, as Carr said before we fired this up.
Yeah, where do you get a sequin turtleneck? And does it go all the way in the ridge? Like, does he got a little
Yeah, like
rash
right
after
here.
taking it off?
Oh my gosh, dude! You know what though? I'm not gonna be a hater, guys, because I got to say it. Michael Anthony Hall looked good, man. This must have been one of the outtakes from the Breakfast Club.
Man, I just
Whenever I
gotta
see this
say,
video now, all I'm gonna hear is "Don't you forget about me."
I feel like they just put like a lot of glue and then just like opened up a thing of glitter and let it drop onto him, had him shake it off and walk down the red carpet. Like, what are you
Oh,
doing there, dude?
man.
Like my kid,
And when he
drew
got up, he
that
left back little
with
sparkles,
the
and
glitter
shit, like-
markers that I got.
Oh,
for
you know
birthday.
those sequins were dropping all over the place, bro.
Bro
Yeah,
had
dude.
Bro had glitter. You know, you go to a certain type of club and you come home with glitter. He was giving the glitter out, bro.
Just for reference, this is what I'm talking
Same glasses,
about.
dude.
I mean, look,
Oh man,
it's uncanny. Hold on, let me try to rewind. They're almost the same. I think he had the Wayfarers, but I mean, there's still that square look. Come on, man. Boom. 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 I'm thinking of him also in what's that movie I like? Weird Science. He ain't even got his license, Lisa.
it wasn't that one too. Either way, he made the most of it. Draft day is very important for these dudes.
Yeah.
It's memorable.
But
He's
great,
gonna have that suit up in his closet for the rest of his life and just be like, "That was my draft day." outfit."
just getting glitter on everything.
As that
man.
thing wears out, he's just find red all in the closet.
Just shaking it out every now and then. Yeah.
Speaking of shaking some things out, let's shake out these shout outs and our gratitude before we get rolling into the main topic, because it's a heavy hitter. It's a heavy hitter.
For me, special week for me. Gratitude to my eldest daughter, just turned 6. Had her birthday party yesterday, and I just want to give her a shout out because something about those kids, man, they change you. I was a young lad, and she's the reason why things have changed for the better. I wouldn't be doing things I do if I didn't have
That's
her.
right.
I love her with all of my heart. So happy birthday, baby.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, man. Congrats, dude.
Happy
I'm
birthday,
sure you
baby
had
girl.
I'm pretty sure you all had a great time, man. Like, it sounds like a beautiful thing to be a parent. Can't wait to get there. But I can a little bit.
Oh, they're expensive, dog. I spent so much money yesterday. I love her.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But, oh, they're expensive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to shout out my brother, helped him move into his beautiful new home. But this is a public service announcement. If you ask somebody to move, put things in boxes before they show up.
oh, packing and moving are two different things.
Yeah. No, it was all together. Like yesterday was like me carrying many things during multiple trips. Like I had a full tank of gas. I do not have a full tank of gas anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So
Number one question. You need help packing or moving?
yeah, I probably should have looked at the terms and conditions before signing up, because he was like,
yeah, you've been
"You can
had,
help me?"
sir.
Yeah, I got had. Yeah, I'm feeling it today. I got the Aleve going. I'm all like, oh, Aleve. So that was a fun day.
The
I'm going to
Aleve
shout
relief.
out for another week. My parents, my children just got back late last week. Shout out to my folks for having them for 3 weeks and giving my wife and I some much needed quiet time in production. So that's it. It was nice. We didn't do as many things as we planned on doing. Typically when they go on vacation, we're like, okay, we got to do this, and that. But we took our time and just Had a good time. Got some things done. Got something, or didn't get other things done that we wanted, but we'll get it done. So, all right. Let's
All
rock.
right. Now let's
What had happened?
dive.
We
Yeah,
got a
man.
lot to unpack here, y'all.
Let me put on my scuba gear. Let me send a message out to Arthur Curry, the Aquaman. Car, you hit up Namor.
Okay.
That's the Marvel version of Aquaman.
I thought that was a Submariner, but
Yeah, Namor the
enough
Submariner.
Marvel. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, enough Marvel. This
Yes,
is
sir.
the real ocean drama that happened over the course of a week. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is something, man. It was a good little bit. So for those who don't know, Ocean Gate submersible, the Titan was missing for a few days and has been found in bits and pieces. I guess, or pieces of the submersible have been located and recovered from some folks or some area right near the Titanic, which was their destination for the voyage. So,
Yep.
quick timeline, going back a couple of weeks here. So the Friday before they set off, they go out there from Newfoundland, Canada. Hamish Harding and the what was the CEO's name?
Stockton. Rush.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Were two of the prominent names. So we'll get into the folks here in just a moment and pay our due respects. But they get there Friday. They're supposed to go out Saturday. They don't get out that Saturday. They come out the next Sunday, 4 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Central Standard Time over here. It's when they originally aimed to start their descent. Starts a couple hours later, about 8 a.m., gets into it. And then 2 hours into that dive, they lose communication. It's supposed to be a 2-hour descent, so it's up to 4 to 6 hours, I think. What is it, 2 hours down, a little bit of time down there, and then 2 hours back up. So right when they were getting to, or are anticipated to be getting to the depths of the depths, getting to the end of their descent, they lose communication, and Coast Guard gets involved. The Canada's, I guess, Coast Guard also gets involved, searching for them. And finally, what was it? Was it Thursday? Is when they were supposed to run out of air, roughly. So what's that? That's about 4 days.
96 hours.
96 hours.
Yeah.
Those 4 days, they're down there searching for them. Just kind of, that's the only news that's breaking online is how much air they have left. Of course, big news. People are tweeting and Facebooking, doing what online people do with these kind of situations. Sir. But finally, shortly after they were rumored to run out of air is when they started finding, I guess it was the bottom piece of the submersible and another piece that was located near the Titanic in a field of debris. So the official word is it was an implosion of the submersible, with all who were on there assumed to have passed due to said implosion. So a crazy little week and a crazy news timeline if you were following this week, just full of anticipation and not as much information as you would hope would come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time I'd heard about it, they were at like the 40-hour mark. I saw like a quick headline on my Apple News app, and I was like, what's going on over there? And then when I got back to it the next day, there's obviously less than that left. So it's sad.
It was all, it's really tragic what happened, but this was the talk of the town, of the nation, of the world for a little while. Like,
it still is.
Spent a lot of time around the water cooler this week speculating. You know? And it really is unfortunate what happened. This was experimental technology brought forth by Stockton Rush that got put into place a few times successfully, but this was the one time where, things created a perfect storm where they had a catastrophic event.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
That's crazy. That was that was what, newer technology, right? I think they used some sort of carbon fiber
Yeah.
technology.
Alloy.
Yeah. So they did a carbon fiber weave that was about 5 inches thick.
Mm-hmm.
They had loomed that around like a cylinder, and
Mhm.
then they created that, and they bonded it with some sort of adhesive. And then they put a titanium ring around both sides with another form of adhesive, and then they put 2 end caps on top of that. So they created basically a really advanced like CO2 tank. Because
Oh, wow.
the structure of a CO2 tank gets strengthened if you carbon fiber weave it. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, so the technology is like really fascinating. The only thing, like I saw a lot of videos this week when I was trying to get my information on this. Shout out to 2-Bit Da Vinci. He's an engineer that runs a YouTube channel. He breaks down the whole system and everything, how it goes into place. And basically stuff that has been used in deep submersibles has been tested with computer models, because you can run the properties of an alloy like steel or aluminum like through the model, and it can tell you kind of how it deforms under a certain amount of pressure and how much life it has. With this one, it's such a new concept to do that for a submersible. It actually doesn't have any kind of model put in place for you to actually start testing with it. So
Oh, wow.
there's different ways. Yeah, there's different ways to test this. You can either do a destruction test, which basically is, you break that thing not under those same conditions, but you put it under similar conditions on the surface, and you
Gotcha.
should realize what your tolerances are. But the crux of the whole thing is carbon fiber weaves are subject to something called delamination, which just sounds like tragic when it's actually happening. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but carbon fiber doesn't break, it shatters like glass. Like it just falls apart. Like once it reaches past its tensile strength, it will just shatter. And a lot of people are speculating that's what had happened, because they found 2 pieces of the end cap, like the hull cover on the back where you see like the fin of the actual submersible.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a couple of other various pieces too. But this was something that they maybe had tested and figured out to go through a certain amount of dives. But because it's such a new technology, you can't actually rate it at like a life rating, because a lot of these steel submersibles and aluminum submersibles have a lifetime rating for X amount of dives.
Yeah.
This one kind of, because you can put steel through it a bunch of times, but you can't do it through every time. So the same principle applies here, but since it's so new and cutting edge, there wasn't really a model in place for that. So this unfortunately serves as the model for how long those things should last. A lot of those deep dive submersible units are only rated for a certain amount of time.
Wow.
And three dives out of 4, that shows us this thing was put through its paces quite a bit of times and came up successfully. But this was the time.
This is the time where it didn't.
Yeah. And it's really unfortunate. We lost a lot of people in multiple communities of business and enterprise and even exploration that lost their lives to this. We lost a young man as well. So
Yeah. We could talk a little bit about the crew.
Yeah.
So we kind of know what's happening or what happened to those folks and what their status was in society. Most of these people were, well, I guess all of them were well off individuals, but explorers. When I had heard, and I admit, the first time that I had heard people say, or them being characterized as explorers, I was like, just because they had money to build something like this and go to the Titanic, I was like, to make them explorers. And then when in doing research for this episode, I was like, oh, most of these guys are legit explorers, and they've got some sort of background in travel of many kinds. For example, Captain Hamish Harding. Okay, Captain Hamish Harding now he's probably the most wealthy of them all, but he's a billionaire, English billionaire, and a pilot based out of the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. That's where like Dubai is, for those who don't know. But he was born in London. He spent his childhood in Hong Kong, and he was inspired by the Apollo 11 landing. He said he watched the event on TV in '69 with his folks. So then he went to the King's School, and that's an independent school in Gloucester, which is in like southwest England. He later on became, like I said, a pilot, and the owner of Action Aviation. If you're not familiar with Action Aviation specializes in aircraft, helicopters, and you may have heard of this company before. I'm not entirely sure, but Blue Origin. I'm being facetious, obviously. Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos' company. They went to space. And this guy went to space. He was part of Blue Origin. He went up. I believe that was the NS-21 mission of June last year. So this man went beyond our planet and now went to the deep depths. Obviously didn't make it, but it's crazy to think that he went to space and came back successfully, but couldn't survive going beneath the surface, which is just insane. But a couple other notable things. Well, one other notable thing is that he had been to the South Pole several times with notable pilot who went to the moon, Buzz Aldrin. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. He survived by his wife and 2 sons. Guy was 58 years old. He's about as old as my mom and my dad, which is crazy. Next guy, Shahzada Dawood, Pakistani businessman, philanthropist. He's well known for his philanthropy. He's the vice chairman of Dawood Hercules Corporation and part of the Dawood Group. That's a family-owned business that's been around for well over a century. He was the steward of Dawood Group's technology investments, which included IoT stuff. So IoT is Internet of Things. So all of your internet-connected devices in your home, your smart bulbs, your whatever, your toasters. The reason why IPv6 is so important because you can have more and more devices connected to the internet. We don't have to get into the technology talk, just using a reference there. He invested in Rayon. I'm not entirely sure. It's REON. I'm assuming it's Rayon, but they're a leading solar and storage solution. So that's clean energy. So this guy, when you think about his background, he may not be an explorer to the extent that these folks are, but he was invested in technology. So that's really important because when you think about something like this, what they use to go down, that's new technology or another form of technology. Also, he's a trustee at the SETI Institute. That's a nonprofit research organization. They focus on life and intelligence in the universe. Husband, father of he's survived by his wife, Christine, his daughter, Eilina, and his son, who I'll name next, Suleiman, went with him, 19 years old, died on the ship as well, or in the submersible. He was a student at the University of Strathclyde, Glasgow, that's Scotland. He planned to work with his dad at Ingro. That's one of the companies that his father was involved with. He was an intern there, and the kid was remembered for being tall, because, I mean, when you look at the picture, he towers over his dad. Remember for being tall, carrying his Rubik's Cube, and he had a love of science fiction literature and volleyball. And our next guy, Paul P.H. Nargelet. I'm assuming because he's French, that's how you say it. My French listeners out there, feel free to tell me I'm an idiot and I said it wrong. But no, sorry. This cat was known as Mr. Titanic. The dude's been there 37 times. He was a French diver, and he was in the French Navy for 22 years, retired as a commander. So this man knows the waters. In fact, he was the director of underwater research for the Experiential Media Group, EMG LLC, also known as EM Group, and RMS Titanic Inc. So it makes sense that they would bring a guy like this in with them because of his past experience. He actually won on some of those dives, or one of the dives, he supervised the recovery of like 5,000. Let me double check. Yeah, 5,000 artifacts. And that included the recovery of a big piece of a 20-ton section of the Titanic's hull, which is now on display in Vegas. And then during an interview in 2019 with the Irish Examiner, I thought this was, and this is shout out to The Guardian for this one, or was it US Today? I forgot. One of those two where I read this. I actually lifted this one directly, but discussed his involvement with the Titanic wreckage and whether he ever got scared traveling so far down in the ocean. And his quote is, "If you are 11 meters or 11 kilometers down, if something bad happens, the result is the same. When you're in very deep water, you're dead before you realize that something is happening. So it's just not a problem." I think that's very telling and chilling at the same time that he actually said that 4 years ago. You know what I mean? And that ended up being what took his life. He was 77 years old, so he was the oldest member of the crew. And last but not least, Stockton Rush, OceanGate CEO and co-founder. He was also a member of the board of trustees at the OceanGate Foundation, which is a nonprofit that, from their website, aims to catalyze emerging marine technology to further discoveries in marine science, history, and archaeology. So a little bit more about him. He became the youngest jet transport-related pilot in the world when he obtained his DC-8 type / captain's rating at the United Airlines Jet Training Institute in 1981 at the age of 19. So the dude knew a little bit about flying, apparently. He served as a DC-8 officer while studying mechanical and aerospace engineering at Princeton. Princeton. In a feature at a Princeton magazine or on the website, they said, this is a quote of his, he reported that every one of OceanGate's dives that he went on, every one of OceanGate's dives. So every time they did something, he was a part of that. So while he was experienced in the air, he was experienced in the water. He said, part of what we do is to get people to appreciate that most of human history is underwater. Atlantis. Couldn't help it, guys. But no, so another interesting thing that I saw is that his wife, Wendy Rush, she's also a director of comms at OceanGate, is the great-great-granddaughter of Isidore and Ida Strauss, who were two first-class passengers that died on the Titanic in 1912. That's crazy. So, to a degree, the Titanic is something personal, I would say, or was something personal to him, as is for his wife. That's something personal.
Yeah.
That might spark the, infatuation. And
right.
To do this.
And because he's the CEO and this is his company, I want to dive a little bit more about his upbringing, just a tad. He's the youngest of 5 children and was born in San Francisco. His real name is Richard Stockton Rush the third. His dad was Richard Stockton Rush Jr., based out of Philly. His mom was from San Francisco. His maternal grandfather was Ralph K. Davies. Maternal grandmother Louise Davies. They were philanthropists. Excuse me. Wow, philanthropist. There's a philanthropist. But no, his grandmother actually has a symphony hall in San Francisco named after her. So he comes from a prominent family. Also, his father was a descendant of 2 signers of the Declaration of Independence. So that's pretty crazy.
I feel like,
go ahead.
I don't know. I just feel like the way those bloodlines work when you look into powerful people is very, continuous, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real sectionalized. Yeah. It comes from a place and it stays from a place.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
The reason why I wanted to take the reins on really diving into who these people were, like you can read the names and say, yeah, okay, this guy died, this guy, whatever. But I got to tell you guys, and this is where I really want the meat and potatoes of our discussion to kind of focus on. I'm really disturbed by the way people have kind of been dismissive of these folks. I get it. And I'll admit, I think actually all 3 of us are not always the biggest fans of rich people, wealthy people. We don't worship the ground that they walk on. They put their pants on or their shoes on the same way that we do. Some people love it, some people don't, right? But I have seen some comments, even in my own personal circles, from very close friends, some that I would say are considered like some of my best friends. That's just been kind of like, well, they're idiots. And this is what happens when rich people go and spend money and do stupid shit. And I wanted to shed light and talk about these folks because they weren't just some rich dudes. Like, this isn't like Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or a Saudi prince saying, I want to go to the moon or I want to go into the ocean. These were guys that have backgrounds in technology and exploration, aerospace, underwater technology. And again, with Mr. Dawood, he wasn't an explorer like the other guys were, but he's no stranger to technology in the energy sector. He understands how that stuff works, and he was looking to be on the cutting edge of that technology. It was $250K to go down there. And people hear that number, and I think that automatically puts them off. Like, yeah, you spent $250K to die. Well, that's what you get for doing stupid things. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that because that, once again, that just really has rubbed me the wrong way. And I think that a lot of people forget these are people that were loved.
Yeah. Well, first I want to start off with the idea. I don't believe there are rich dummies. Like what you see on Instagram with kids and Lambos and all that, that's not wealth. That like the real wealth is something where somebody throws their passion into it and they end up just wealthy at the end of it. These guys had skin in the game in any sector that they were in. And to say that there was just like a folly on their part for just wasting money, I think it's oversimplifying these things. Because if this was more like a shallow kind of situation where like a celebrity was going under a submarine, it would have been more publicized before things actually happened than after. You know what I mean? We didn't know, we didn't care until stuff started going wrong, and people weigh in with their opinions too. But like I said, these guys weren't rich dummies. They all had something going on. Even the kid, he had a promising future ahead of him.
Yep.
And I think it's a perfect storm for the internet to, crowd on. They made memes out of the control method that they used for their ship, which is like a Logitech controller. And there's some stuff there that's questionable, but to oversimplify and say that it was born out of stupidity, I don't think that was the case. I think there was some oversight for sure.
Sure.
But there's still people with reputations that went in with confidence to do this. It wasn't just some money play. It wasn't a helicopter ride in Las Vegas. You know what I mean? This was something else. This was you had a guy who explored the Titanic for years and years and years. He was probably going to serve as like a factoid man, bit of a tour guide,
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Something that was the Frenchman been down there 37 times. Like, it's not like these were just people that didn't know what they were doing and just say, hey, let's get a tin can and see if we can make it to the Titanic. That's not what happened. That's not who these people were. They're very, like you said, on the cutting edge of this technology. And I think that if the Frenchman was down to get into that submersible and go down all the time that he's done it, then there a lot of things are going on about the safety of it and the construction of it. Again, it was cutting edge, but if he's going to do it, he's done it 37 times. He knows, I would think, some things to look for. Like, if there's cracks in the hull, he wouldn't jump in it and say, let's ride. So I think that's being over just publicized at this point. But it's the online age, man. This is what they do. The internet. That's what we do. Trolls. Nothing but trolls.
Yeah, I think if we all had the same opportunity, based on what we were up to at that point and we had the funds for it, it seemed like something accessible if you had that kind of pay. But, we'll never really know up until we get the opportunity to kind of get the same opportunity, It's just weird. It's unfortunate. Like, it can happen with anything, really. Like, I don't know. Like, the main pilot, or no, was it the pilot or was it the CEO? One of them is quoted to say, like, if you're gonna worry about the danger, don't even get in a car today. So they had some strong personalities for sure. They had some ideas about the way safety works and everything goes, but it wasn't a tin can going to the bottom of the ship. It was something that was invested.
Right. They felt comfortable or confident enough in the technology. Although I've seen reports that, there were concerns about the submarine or submersible that they used. One of the guy was actually Richard Stockton Rush was the one that allegedly said, it's baseless. It's a baseless claim. Chill out, basically. Don't worry about it. We'll be okay. You touched on something, Car, that I think is really important. You said that if they were celebrities, like well-known celebrities, you would have heard about it up into them going underneath. And man, that just resonated with me because think of I'm going to just take 3 random names: Kim Kardashian, LeBron James, and
The Rock.
Messi.
The Rock. Messi. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was trying to do like a musician, athlete, give me a musician. Like if Jay-Z or Madonna went down there, right? It was like, oh yeah, we're going to go look at the ocean. Imagine if they wanted to do this and then they died. Now, people would definitely be calling them stupid. Like, well, you're rich. That was dumb of you. You don't know anything about this. Right? But there would also be those folks, depending on the celebrity, who I think would be showing a lot more sympathy for these individuals because of their public status. Oh my God, I'm never going to hear another Jay-Z album. You know what I mean? Or, oh man, I really like Kim Kardashian's makeup tutorials on Instagram or whatever she does. I don't know what she does today. I'm just throwing some stuff out. But you get my point. There be people that are a lot more sympathetic to those folks. And because this mission was unsuccessful, we're hearing about it.
Yeah.
We're hearing about it.
Yeah.
If they'd have gone there, and come back successfully, you'd be like, oh, somebody went to the Titanic again. Cool.
Yep. Be a quick news segment,
Yeah. 100% agree with you guys. So I don't know, man. I'm tired of the negativity around the situation as far as just like really making fun of the people for having access to that. Because I have to ask our listeners out there, if you had the money to go to space, to go into the depths of the ocean, to be able to get inside of a volcano somehow, we come up with a way to be immune to magma or be able to withstand the heat of a volcano before it erupts. You get to a point where you're able to hover around. If you're able to do that, and it's been 1,000,000% or whatever percentage battle tested and approved and safe, tell me you wouldn't do it. Because I tell you what, I'm trying to go to space. I've told all 3 of my kids, my goal for you is to get to space. All of you.
Yeah.
I want you. I'm probably not going to be able to see space in my lifetime, but we've got the Space Force now. And we've got, all kinds of stuff. Blue Origin. Richard Branson, the guy that runs Virgin, right? He's got those crafts or those trips. Now it costs, I think, $1 million to do it. But the point is, we have the technology. We can do it. So if you had the ability to do that, would you not do it? Especially if you were passionate about it. Sure. We can all agree that most of these guys, if not all of them, were thrill seekers to a certain degree. And it's an adrenaline rush. But you know what? It might not be the adrenaline rush of just like, hey, I'm doing it for the clout. It's the adrenaline rush of, man, it was successful. We did it. Did you see that? We saw that. We saw it together. Holy crap, we did it. Wow, that was incredible.
Pushing the limitations of what should be possible is exciting.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to the bottom of the ocean, bro. I'm not going to the bottom of the ocean, bro. I don't even go. When I go to the beach, I only go certain, there's stuff out there, bro. I'm not going to the ocean. I'm down to go to space, though. I'm down to go to space. I would go to space, but I'm not. And not just because of this. You've known me for a while. That's not the way. I'm never taking a cruise. It's not the way I get down. I can't swim that good.
Gotcha. So, you know, like I
That's
think the
keeping it
human
real.
spirit, yeah, I think the human spirit is embodied by us just pushing our limits because we're just little fleshy hot dog people walking around an earth that's hot and cold in different places, and sometimes the wind blows too hard. And I think our greatest strength is using our brains to circumvent all those things.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing this from somewhere I read about all of this, but somebody had kind of touched on the fact that the industry of exotic tourism is now starting to emerge. So we got these space flights, we got these deep sea things. That's all going to be accessible by a greater populace at some point.
Absolutely.
And so this is just the cutting edge of that becoming a thing. You know, before it's casual enough to get an airplane ticket to go up into space, like these things happen. You know, like man didn't make a perfect boat the first time. Man didn't make a perfect plane the first time. And now whatever the vessel or the vehicle is to get to those more exotic places, it has to go through these things. You know,
50 years,
point.
we're all flying Spirit to the moon. Spirit Airlines.
Yeah,
to the moon.
yeah, dude. I'm gonna be on Delta to the moon, and it's gonna suck, but I'm gonna get there safely. You know,
I can't wait for those days. We might not even be around when that happens, but it's like, you flying to the moon?
I'll just download
What are
my
you flying on?
consciousness into an AI.
Space West?
yeah.
You know what I
Get free
mean?
points. Yeah,
Right,
no, but
right.
Man, imagine how many points you get for flying to the moon.
Dude, I got my
How many
frequent mooner
flyer
miles.
yeah. It's just
Same page.
it sounds
Trey,
silly
same
now.
page.
It sounds silly now. In 150 years, let's see what that sounds like. You know,
Saying 100 years ago,
Let's see what-
you think it was crazy that you can make it across the world in 15 hours.
yeah,
Nobody would have thought
yeah,
about
dude.
it. And it's
Yeah.
common practice today.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now, and it is a new thing. It's a new concept, and that's kind of cool that humanity is progressing forward in this place because I'm pretty sure this is all driven by the fact that we're going to leave this rock at some point, you know, just to kind of sow our wild oats across everywhere else. But
That is if the
It is
AI
still-
doesn't stop us first.
yeah,
So we're going to have to leave the rock to get away from the AI. That's what's happening.
yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah,
they're
but-
gonna catch us in mid-flight, exterminate.
yeah. But that's all conspiracy theories.
You a thief?
Oh,
Yeah,
y'all want
but
a
what happened
conspiracy
is-
theory? I got some for y'all for this.
Yeah. But I think what happened is like a futurist thing that failed. And a lot of futurist stuff is not correct. A lot of the speculations that we have about the way things were going to go 20 years ago did not pan out. We still don't got flying cars. But, you know, there was still a lesson to be learned here. And people that actually had skin in the game lost their lives, which is unfortunate because, yeah, the Titanic Exploration Group, RMS, like the recovery project, like they lost a subject matter expert, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Stockton Rush, whether you love him or hate him, still did what he wanted to do and still tried to get everything to succeed in his way. And, you know, in his way.
These
Yeah.
were 4 going on 5 successful men in their fields. Well respected. Obviously, they've got a lot of money to be able
Yeah.
to do something like this at $250K a pop. Mr. Dawood had to spend $500K for him and Junior. So, you know, these are 5 successful guys who were on an unsuccessful mission. And it made me think, you know, how do you define success? I just want to stop for a moment, take a step back and just think about that. Because success can be subjective, right?
Yeah.
And some of the angles, once again, and I'm not trying to, I feel like I'm becoming a millionaire, billionaire sympathizer. That's not the angle I'm coming from. But I feel like people are really rocking with this level of schadenfreude to see them fail.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if they had like a drone or something that didn't cause the death of a person, let alone multiple people. But to lose lives, be like, ha, well, that's what you get. That's gross. I'm sorry. That's gross because when things happen to us, normal people who don't have that level of success or haven't reached that level of success, or just people, even people that have reached that level in their careers and their business, that don't take those kind of risk to just be like, I'm not with that. I'm not with that at all. We have to do better. Otherwise,
yeah.
this is how the machines take over.
Yeah, when the machines start making more money than
Hey
us.
man, they're gonna be like, they don't even care about each other. Why should we care about them?
So yeah, I think financial prosperity is a form of success, but also there's a guy who lives off grid that has solar panels and a rain catch and or lives off the land and finds himself to be the king of the world, you know?
Yep.
So I think public perception kind of skews that because we all want to be rich. We all want to be famous. We all want to get a fridge that also like is a computer.
Or is it food for you?
I wouldn't say most people want to be rich. I mean, I'm sure it'd be nice, but if everybody's rich, then nobody's rich, right? But I think most people want to be left alone. They want to be able to live their life the way that they please with as little barriers as possible.
Yeah.
And
some people don't even,
having a certain level of financial security allows you to live life with less borders than the average person.
Yeah, you get allowed to do things like this, like explore your passions and stuff. I think success is defined by the person and it's influenced by external forces too. I just think a completely realized person will realize all those things that are affecting them, and then they will take that transmorph it and turn it into success.
Yeah.
You know? And I think a lot of vitriol and hate comes from just a lack of awareness on how to get there. Like I'm doing okay. I'm not where I want to be, but you know, somebody else could see my path right now and say that I am successful. You know, everybody can see that. Everybody's got something that they got to work on. Everyone's got a 5-year plan, 10-year plan. So when it comes down to that, I think I don't think anybody's going to remember what these guys did to become successful. And that's unfortunate because their headstone is going to be what happened at the end.
Died in the water.
Died in the water. And then that minimizes everything else that led up to all this, you know?
Yeah. I just hope if you're doing it the right way, I just hope it's like, you know, died living their dream.
Yeah. Or
died doing what you love, you know?
Yeah, or left something behind for other people to prosper off of and stuff. But it's subjective, dude. You're right. It's totally subjective. Like, I don't know. I think when it comes to this was a public perception of successful, rich dummies, like I said before. And like the small person on the internet criticizing the Logitech controllers, being like, what did they do for me? You know?
Right. Well, you get what you deserve, bro. I mean, you make a dumb decision. I mean, like, well, I mean, bro. Yeah.
Life is a risk every day.
Absolutely.
And everything that you do, you take a risk. You get in the car, you drive 20 minutes to work, you are at a risk. And probably a little bit of a higher, maybe not a higher risk than the submersible, but it's more common, you know, to lose your life in something like that. So if I had $250K, I had to choose a way to go out. For me, it'd be going out in a spaceship. I'm not getting in the water again. Reiterate that. But
if I got the money, we're all going to space. I'm gonna be like, Trey, car, let's go.
Let's go. WFS live from the International Space Station. Let's do it. But success varies for people, man. Some people want to be rich and famous. Some people just want to, you know, live in their cottage with their family and children and just make sure all their bills are paid. There's always another level of it. For me, I think if you can do something that you love and be with people that you love and spend your time how you want to spend your time, then that sounds like a success to me. No matter if people know who you are or not, it's not important. It's the people that do know you and the people that are in your life. So I hope that the people that these men leave behind in their life can navigate through the trolls online and the things that are being thrown into the media to really pass down the legacy of what these people actually were to the people that matter to those people, the grandkids that, you know, may not know him quite as well, but, you know, don't listen to what you read online. He's not some rich person who lost his life. He was somebody who went to the Titanic 37 years. He was somebody who was an avionic. I
Aviation.
can't say the word. Yeah, there it is. Couldn't get it out. Aviation expert. Let that success shine through for these gentlemen. That's it.
That was beautiful, man. That was well put. Yeah, that was well put, Trey. Yeah. I don't know. That really got starting to thinking about the success thing in relation to this. I've been listening to a podcast called The Diary of a CEO. It's this guy, Stephen Bartlett. He's based out of the UK. Kind of looks like a kid I used to babysit when I was younger. His name is Kyle. Kind of reminds me of him a little bit. But if you've never heard of the podcast, I highly encourage it. I got started on the podcast listening to an episode with Mo Gadot, and Mo Gadot was a Google executive. I think he was an engineer. Is starting there, where they had an episode talking about AI, and then I watched another episode after that where this lady talked about intermittent fasting, and now I'm watching another. I watched yet another one where a guy was talking about how your childhood shapes your childhood trauma or your childhood in general shapes who you are more than you realize as an adult. So I kind of wonder as well what these guys' childhoods were like as individuals, that like the circumstances that shaped who they are, that made them go out and do something like this. And again, not to shame it, but just like to give them that drive to be as successful as they were. And then to be able to like take it to another level and say, you know what, we're doing this. We're going to the Titanic, baby. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
So
I saw the one with the doctor talking about trauma and childhood upbringing.
yeah.
And it was really insightful. I did it while I was cleaning out a comms closet. It was nice. I just was putting away cables and then the child thinks it's a narcissist, but no, it was really good. He brought up a lot of valid points, and I think success can turn into an addiction. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak for the people that lost their lives, but if you are addicted to success, you probably will go to the ends of the earth to get some rare earth, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Well put.
Yeah, but it is what it is. We can speculate all day, but we can also just look inside like we always do, or at least the three of us do, and see like how that translates and what it means to us. Like, maybe these individuals, companies won't fix our bottom end. You know, they won't sign our paychecks or anything like that. But we can learn from these things, and like we touched in the beginning, we have to learn from the past in order to not repeat it.
And if you're not happy with your bottom end, you can always go to Brazil.
Yeah,
get yourself a lift. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
See, that's where the money's going. That's
yeah,
where,
exactly.
That's yeah,
I think that's a good place to stop, y'all. We have some announcements here. So we've been working busy behind the scenes. If you like what you're hearing and you want to leave us feedback and you don't want to do it on social media, that's fine. You can email us at waveofthefuture@gmail.com, or you like to go and follow a little blue bird around that's owned by a billionaire who may own a electric car company and some solar panel or solar batteries, whatever. Maybe you want to go to Twitter. That's what I'm talking about, Twitter. You can follow us at WFS Show. That is Whiskey Foxtrot Sierra Show. Or you want to catch our picks. You want to do the meta thing. You want to be hip. Look at our reels. You can follow us on Instagram at Wave of the Future. We're making moves, everyone. We are trying to expand our reach. We're trying to meet you where you are. We're really excited about the future of the show, and we could not do it without you, the dear listeners and watchers of this show. So thank you. Thank you all. More to come. We're just getting started. You guys got anything else?
I just want to say on what he was saying, we're just getting going. There's so much more beneath the surface. So keep listening, guys.
I like it. I like it. Well, with that, we're going to say later.